So guys, today I'm going to be telling you the story of very significant engines in Land Rover history, and also the engines which arguably played a very large vital role in saving Land Rover in the late 80s and early 90s. Before we get started, can I just thank glencoiner.co.uk and their TDI pages, as I have fact-checked and gotten quite a lot of information off of their website for this video. I'll put a link to their website in the description and in the pinned comment, so let's get into it now. So the year is 1986, and Land Rover has a diesel engine which is called the 19J, but this engine was incredibly underpowered, and the turbo version only gave it an advantage of 15 horsepower, and a tiny boost over the standard non-turbo model of the engine. Whilst the turbo model only did make 15 horsepower more, that small increase in power did cause a lot of problems internally though, with engine block and pistons being prone to cracking. Other issues with these engines included low MPG or miles per gallon, and it was also very sluggish and very behind technologically when compared to the then modern Japanese competition. Land Rover decided that they needed a new turbo diesel engine, which was more powerful, reliable, and economical to go in their project called the Discovery, which would be launched in just 3 years in 1989. So in comes Project Gemini, also known as the 200 TDI project. This newfound engine would use the same tooling and share a few parts with its predecessor, and the basic layout and dimensions would be similar. Some of the carried over components included the crank and camshafts. One of the things that was new for the engine was the cast cylinder head instead of iron, which was common on more heavy duty diesels of the era. Another thing is that these engines had direct injection, which was extremely modern for back then, and a first for a Land Rover engine. Land Rover fitted an aluminium strengthened bar into the engine between the block and the sump so that these new 200 TDI engines wouldn't suffer from the same fate of cracking blocks as their predecessor, the 19J. When the Discovery was launched in October of 1989 with its 200 TDI and V8 options, many journalists praised the 200 TDI. In 1990, Land Rover released the Defender, which would replace the already existing 90, 110 and 127 range. To celebrate this new vehicle in their lineup, Land Rover decided that they would fit the 200 TDI into the Defender. There were some differences between the Discovery and Defender versions of the engine though. Some of these were: the turbo was mounted higher up on the inlet manifold on the Defender version, the injector pump was mounted lower on the Defender version, and there were some changes to the exhaust and the exhaust manifold on the Defender. These changes meant that the Defender version of the 200 TDI engine produced 4 horsepower less than the Discovery, making 107, whilst the Discovery produced 111. Whilst this engine was meant to revolutionise and help save Land Rover, it was very rough and noisy compared to Japanese competitors, so Land Rover started working on the replacement, which would be called the 300 TDI. The 300 TDI made the same power and has the same cylinder size as the 200 TDI, but it was redesigned to make it quieter and more refined. Pretty much nothing from the 200 TDI was carried over to the 300, as the majority of the bits were new, more effective, more reliable, and more economical. Also, the 300 TDI was given a new engine block, which was internally strengthened. All of the other stuff, such as oil filter housing and piston vacuum pump, were both moved around. The cylinder head also had a full redesign, and it had a modified valve setup. It also had a different style of serpentine belts, replacing the 2V setup on the front of the old 200 TDIs. When the 300 TDI came out, the Discovery had to have its engine bay changed slightly to accommodate it, but the Defender had to have its engine bay changed much more drastically to accommodate the new engine, because of Land Rover's goal of trying to have the same engine with less changes put in both vehicles. Both the 200 and 300 TDIs had automatic gearbox options in the Discovery and Range Rover, with the 200 TDI's autobox being very sluggish, but the 300 TDI's automatic gearbox was much better and improved, with a fly-by-wire throttle, and the automatic actually made 11 horsepower more, making 122 horsepower instead of the standard 111 in the manual, and 15 pound-foot of torque more, making 210 pounds-feet of torque instead of 195 in the manual. Production of the 300 TDI engine ran from 1994 up until 1998, when it had to be replaced for emissions reasons, and it was replaced by the TD5, which would go on to be put in the Defender and Discovery 2. These TDI engines are also loved by tuners because of their ability to do stuff like this. So guys, that concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, then please leave a like, and if you want to see more like this, then please subscribe. And very soon I will have a video coming out of the Land Rover Discovery 1, the full story of it, from pre-production all the way to the end of production, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, bye.